What's up guys, it's KardTrickKid, and today I'm going to be doing some 3x3 walkthrough solves. So yesterday I was filming some solves and I got a 9.85 average of 12 on camera. And basically I'm just going to reconstruct the solves and my thought process, and yeah, let's get into the first scramble. Scramble will be on screen and in the description. So for this solve I did white. I am dual color neutral, but none of these solves had great yellow scrambles. My white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. This one is a D2 away from being solved. And I noticed if you do an F2 and a U prime, it would set up all the cross pieces to go in. This will go in relation, and these two can go in relations. And R prime, F, L2, and I could have made an X cross with this edge, but I didn't really see that. And then I did a D2 to align the cross, and then I saw this pair, which I went straight into the back. And I didn't see much right here, but I saw if I moved this over like that, it would create this flipped F2L pair. So I inserted it with 5 moves into the back. Now what I should have done is something along the lines of this into the back, but I didn't see that, so I just went with this pair. So I did it like that, and then this pair. Then we have OLO, and J perm with U2 AUF. So if you're going by ETM, this solve was 68 moves in 9.04 seconds. So that makes it around 7.5 turns per second, which is really good for me. So yeah, let's just get into the second scramble. So this next solve was a 9-16. My white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And I wanted to set them up so they're all opposite, so I moved red away with a D, which set it up to be opposite, and then I can insert blue and orange with 2 moves, like that. And since I wanted to stick with just L moves, I did a U2, and inserted this cross piece into the back, and just did a D2. And then I immediately saw this pair was paired up, so I just inserted it into the back. And I kind of panicked here, I didn't see anything. Then I saw this edge in this corner, so I just paired it up like that, inserted it into the back. I did this pair, like that. And then we have a pretty lucky OLS right here, skips OLO, and then just a J perm. So again, in ETM, the solve was 54 moves, and it was 9.16 seconds, which makes it around 5.8 TPS. So not great, but it's still low 9, so you can't complain with that. So this next solve was a 1091. It was the worst solve of the average. My white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. So I saw that I could do an F2 to put blue in relation to red. And then to put in green, I did D, L, D, and then I put in orange like that. And for my first pair, I did orange-green like that. And then I did this pair with this cool insert, and I inserted it like that. And I think I did this pair after, and then we have that pair, and then this pretty unlucky OLO. I don't love this case, and I use a rotation for it because I don't like the B moves, so it goes like this. And then we have an A perm. So once again, in ETM, this was 67 moves in 10.91 seconds, which gives it around 6.14 TPS, so not my best, but not my worst. So this next solve was a 10-14. My white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And I saw that red and orange were in relation to each other. So I could just do an L, R prime to put them next to each other. And I saw that green could also go into the back really easily. So I did a B2, D, R prime. And then I really quickly saw this pair. So I rotated and did it like this. I probably should have done it into the back, but I didn't see that. So for the next pair, I did these two. So I did a U2 and paired them up like that. And for my next pair, I did this like that. And for this, I didn't do the best choice. I rotated twice and did this cool thing to skip EO. So I did it like you would in beginner's method, but then I did a hedge slammer to get edges oriented. And I recognized COLL, and I did a U3. And there's a cool trick you can do for this last layer case. I recognize the corner case by these two are opposite and these two are the same. This whole block and this block gets preserved, so I know once I do the alg, it's going to be a U-perm with the solved side over here and the opposite side over here. So you do the alg, and it's a U-perm. So this solve in ETM was 62 moves in 10.14 seconds, so that makes it around 6.11 TPS, which again is not terrible, but I could have done a lot better. And my COLL recognition was subpar, but hopefully I can improve on that. So this next solve was a 9.61. My white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And I see that green can go in with one move, so I just did that. And I did something pretty cool here. Usually, if you make the cross regularly, it'll get this bad case. So what I did is I put in orange normally, and then I swapped these two just like that. And I immediately saw this pair, which I paired up like this and inserted it into the back. And then I saw this pair, which is just the same alg to pair it up. I saw this really cool thing that would happen. Once I insert this edge will move over here and it'll be another 3-move insert. So I just inserted it and I quickly recognized that. And for the OLL, sometimes I would do that, but that alg is not great because it's lefty move. So instead I did a U2, an S move, sexy sledge, and a T-perm. So in ETM, this solve was 58 moves in 9.61 seconds, which gives it 6.03 TPS. Now let's get on to the next solve, a 10.77. So my white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And I saw if I did a B2, I could put in green next to red correctly. So I did a B2, and then we have this blue edge over here that needs to go right here. So I just inserted it like that, and then I finished off the cross like this. And the first pair I saw was this, so I just rotated and inserted it into the back. And I kind of canceled into this pair and did a sledgehammer, which broke up this pair, which I just inserted it into the back. And then we have this final pair. And I hesitated because I was about to do this OLL, but I saw with the CP, it would give me a diagonal swap case, in this case a V-perm, which is never fun. So I hesitated, and then I did a different alg to force CP. So then we just have a U-perm with the U2 AUF. So this solve was 68 moves and 10.77 seconds, which gives it around 6.31 TPS. I really need to work on the last layer recognition for that. If not, it could be higher TPS and sub 10. Alright, let's get into the next solve. So this scramble is pretty nice. It is 2 moves to put in 3 cross pieces. So I held it with green front, yellow top, and I did an L prime and an R prime to put in these 3 pieces. And I just inserted this last cross piece. And here I did a little bit of UU prime because I couldn't see what to do. So then I saw this pair, and I inserted it like that, and finally inserted this pair into the back. And here I didn't really see much, so I rotated, and then I just did this pair, which gave this pretty nice last pair. I probably should have done winner variation to give me a U-perm, but instead I didn't see that. I just inserted it normally. And I did COLL here, which is a pretty easy alg. And a U-perm. So this solve was 65 moves in 10.21 seconds. So that makes it 6.36 TPS. Solve the 1019. My cross pieces are here, 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 and here. Did an L to put in green, and then a B2 to put in red, just like that. And then to insert orange, I did a D, R prime, D, and I just used an L to put in blue. And for my first pair, I saw this nice case, so I just did it like that and rotated. And I saw this edge in the back, so I did a U2 and inserted this corner. My next pair, I think I did red and green, and then last pair just blue and orange. And I saw these blocks and I know they get preserved with this case, so I knew it was going to be a J-perm. I just didn't know it from angle, so I just did the ALG and a J-perm. So this solve was 65 moves in 10.19 seconds, which makes it 6.37 TPS. So for this next solve, another 1021, I saw that my white cross pieces are here, 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 and here. And I saw that I could use an R2 to get green next to blue. I want to go a step further and also insert orange. So I did an R prime, U, R prime, F to put in orange as well. And then I saw that I could insert red like this. And I should have made an X cross with this edge, but I didn't see that. So I saw this pair, so I paired it up like that and inserted it into the back. And then I saw this edge over here, so I could just go straight into that. And then this luckily paired it up, so I did that. And then here I kind of did a UU prime again because I wanted to influence EO. So I did an F prime, U prime, F prime, and I inserted it like that. And again, I did some more UU prime. And then I did COLL, which happened to skip PLL, which is really nice. And I did this cool thing with the AUF where I kind of dragged it, which made the AUF really smooth. So this solve was like 51 moves in 10.21 seconds, so horrible TPS, around 4.99 TPS. It's really that last pair recognition that I needed to work on. Should have gone for it, it would influence EO anyway, but that COLL PLL skip was pretty cool. So that's technically a ZBLL solve. So speaking of ZBLL, let's get into this next scramble. So this isn't even a CFOP solve, this is a ZB solve, because I did a really cool last layer trick at the end. So my white cross pieces are here, 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 and here, and this is a pretty easy cross. So I did an F, L prime, R prime, and a D2, F prime to put in blue, and then I just inserted this pair into the back, which it luckily paired up, which also paired up this one, so I inserted this into the back. And here, you kind of have an unfortunate case in this slot, but that's okay. So we have this pair over here. And here's where the ZBLS comes in. So ZBLS is an ALG set that you use to influence the edge orientation of the last layer. Now, if you did the ALG I do for this case from this angle, you wouldn't get all edges oriented. I did U prime to move this edge over here, and I did the ALG, which gave me all edges, and a ZBLL case I know. So I recognize it by there's a block right here, and these two are opposite, and this is the same. So I did a U2. And here's the ALG. R, U, R prime, U, L prime, sexy move, L, U, R, U prime, R prime, and a U2. So this solve was 54 moves in 9.27 seconds, so 5.82 TPS. Again, not my greatest, but I was pretty tired when I filmed this average. So yeah, let's get into the next scramble. So this next solve, an 869, was the best solve of the average. I'd consider it a sub 8 fail because I kind of locked up on the PLL. So yeah, let's get into the reconstructions. I saw that these two pieces were next to each other, and this free pair. Usually what I would do in a solve is I'd do R prime, U2, F2, but that breaks up the pair. Instead what I did is I did the U2 before I did the R prime, which would preserve this pair. So I did an F2 and a D prime. And I also saw this pair. So I inserted this into the front, and I kind of canceled into this one in the back. And then I just saw this pair, which I paired up like that. And then I paired up this. And I saw I had no edges oriented, and if I inserted it, I'd get a dot cases, which is usually pretty bad cases. So I did a sledge, which gave me this really nice OLL. And here's where I locked up. I got a J perm, which I kind of locked up on. But if I had executed it a bit better, it could have been sub 8. So this solve was 60 moves and 8.69 seconds, which is 6.90 TPS, but I think I can get a better time than 8.69. $794. So this final solve, a 993, which sealed the deal for a sub 10 average of 12. I saw my cross pieces here, 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 and here. And I did an L2 and an F prime to set up blue and red, orange. And I did an R prime, which set up red, and then a D2 and an F to put in green. And I saw this pair, I did some UU prime stuff. And I inserted it like this into the back. And I kind of canceled into this pair. And then we have this pair. And then again, I did edge orientation here because if you did the regular alg, you get a dot case, which is a terrible case. So I did a hedge, which gives me a fat lefty soon, and a G perm. So the final solve was a 993 in 67 moves, which gives it around 6.74 TPS. So overall, I think there are a couple things you can learn from this average. Some cool EO tricks, some cool ZBLL tricks and COLL tricks. And there are a bunch of things I can learn. I was looking at the solves in slow motion. I saw I was regripping a lot, which is really bad and makes my times a lot slower. So now I know I need to regrip less, and I need to take advantage of easier scrambles. Like on a bunch of the scrambles, there are pre-made blocks that I could have made X crosses with, but I didn't. So that's what I need to improve on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this super long video. I'm so sorry that it's this long. Really appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.